Right, folks, it's Monday, June the 10th, 2019. I'm going to do the old paper review. Once again, I've got the Star. It cost me the grand total of 45p. And here we go. And Clarkson's fatal crash fury. Former Top Gear host. Why put former Top Gear host? Why not put current Grand Tour host? Has been slammed by police after he moaned about how long it took to reopen a road after an horrific crash which left a motorist dead. Turn to page 7. Right, folks, I'm going to try and keep this in 30 minutes. So, motorman Jeremy Clarkson sparked outrage by moaning about a police road crash closure after a fatal road crash. Dear the police, I know it's had a nasty crash in Hammersmith last night, but what can it take this long to reopen the road? The message was sent to Twitter in a meltdown. Bits of the car and the glass down the A4. Clarkson said, it was terrible, but once injuries are sorted, the number one priority is reopening the A4. Twitter user another Twitter user said, opening the road is actually the last priority. Securing evidence and making sure a full scene examination is carried out is the priority. Somebody died. Imagine being one of the members of the family to see you tweeted. Do you know what, right? I like Clarkson. I'm a big fan of Clarkson. But he has probably only said what many others say, right? Yes, nasty accident, somebody's died, they've got to gather evidence. You're sitting there and you're getting delayed, you've got to be somewhere and all that. This is the way of the world now, where the world moves at 1,000,000 miles an hour. People haven't got time. So I would say that there is other people who have actually said this anyway. The Star have actually put shame on you, Jezza. But I cannot honestly understand that the people who use the A4, Jezza is the only one that said anything. Yes, he's out of line. Yes, he's probably got it wrong. Well, he has got it wrong, hasn't he, to be fair? There's no probably about it. And Jezza's actually the one. I wonder how many others have actually said something about this. It happens. And people haven't got time. It's like when you see, you'll see somebody sitting on a bridge in the motorway and they've shut it because they've got on about committing suicide, and people are actually shouting, jump, get on with it, let's get on with it. It's the way of the world now, and that's how it's going to be. It's still going to keep going on like this. So, yeah, Jezza, you're wrong, but I would doubt he was the only one who said that. Right, let's have a look now, the page. Basil Brush has called on Strictly Come Dancing to sign him up as Darcy Brussels' replacement on the judging panel. Boom, boom. No, fucking waste of time, Alice. Look at that. Some bloke there holding Basil Brush. What's all that about? Fuck me. Right. Germany's version of the monster raving loony party is having to get serious after getting loads of votes in the EU. The joke party managed to get 2 MEPs elected despite vowing to cap the voting age at 62. Unlike its British version, Di Partelli is now part of the European Parliament after winning votes from one of the 40 winning votes in one of the 40 elections. Do you know what, folks? It's going to happen over there as well. People are fed up with bloody politics and they're just going to start taking alternative measures and vote for other parties. It's going to happen here. The Tories and Labour, right, we're all fucking fed up with you. We're fed up with the way you're going. You take your bloody 80 grand a year. You're all just talking about fuck all. Nothing's getting done. And it's going to start going this way. People are going to start voting for the different parties. I know I'm never going to vote Tory. I'm never going to vote Labour again. I'd rather go in and destroy my ballot box and just write something on it. And it's about time that when we have an election, at the bottom you should have, let's put it at the fucking top. Let's put it at the bottom. Let's put this box at the top that says no confidence. No confidence in any of the fucking idiots. Because I haven't got any confidence in any of them. Elvis Costello's mixed feelings about getting an OBE. The 64-year-old who has sung about his Republican views rang his mum Lillian to tell her. He said, I listened carefully to my mother's argument that if something is deserved, then one must be gracious in accepting it. But he joked that his honour proves that nobody really listens to the world in songs. I think you do listen to people in songs, Elvis. It's just, you know, you've got to appreciate you have got a talent and somebody wants to reward you for that talent. Only Fools and Horses, the musical, will run for another 5 months. Fair play. What's going on here? Lovebirds, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Is he still injured, Chamberlain? Sure he is. Yeah, he's out there with his girlfriend in Ibiza. Oxford University has been pushed into 3rd place in the influential Education League table. The world's famous institution has always jostled for the top spot with Cambridge, but St Andrews in Scotland, the 3rd oldest institution in the UK, has now picked it into 2nd. There you go then. Becoming a dad is the healthiest thing that can happen to a man. More than a third of blokes had a health check in 3 months after their child was born, and the number increased to 89%. Oh, fucking load of bollocks that is. Donald Trump boasted that the Queen has never had a better time than with him than the day she spent with him. You know, if he's turned on the charm, she's bound to. At least she didn't touch her bum. So alleged reports go when he's met other women. So. Let's have a look now. Top Gear presenter Paddy McGuinness has been hypnotised to take part in the motorist series. He's terrified of flying and thought he and co-host would. For fuck's sake! Start again. He's terrified of flying and thought he and his co-host Freddie Flintoff and Chris Harris would only film in the UK. He's now had hypnotherapy and now looks forward to flying. I'm not a big fan of flying. I'm absolutely terrified of it. I love it. You know when you're sitting on the motorway, not the motorway, the runway, and you're sitting there and the engine's all... Then all of a sudden he puts it in gear and lets the clutch out, and then you just fly it off, and then I love that bit. And then the bit where you bank up. But everything else, I fucking hate flying. Football at the UK's shopping hubs plummeted last month, making it the weakest May for 6 months. According to the BBC, Springboard monitor football was down 3.5% last month compared with the same period in 18. Oh God, Love Island. What? Is anybody actually watching Love Island? Really? I know somebody told me that there was 6 million people watching it. I can't see it myself, it just looks fucking shite to me. Somebody subscribe to my channel. Festival goers and sports fans are being warned about fake tickets after scam victims lost more than 1.6 million in a year. Action Fraud, the National Fraud and Cybercrime Reports Centre said to receive 4,755 complaints of ticket fraud between April the 1st, 2018, that's a bit of a joke, and April the 30th this year. Fraudsters take advantage when music and sports fans are keen to get tickets for high profile events. This is why, do you know what, right? I used to go to concerts all the fucking time, right? From Frankie Goes to Hollywood to Alison Moyet, Queen, we went down to the Nelson Mandela gig, the U2, Simple Minds. I've done them loads, right? I've done absolutely fucking loads of gigs. Hue and Cry and all that stuff, and you could only buy the tickets from the actual venue that you were going to, and then they sent them to you in the post, and that was it. And then sometimes you'd go and you'd walk up and like, tickets, get your tickets here, spare tickets and all that, right? I can't understand why you have to keep going through all these stupid fucking agencies and stuff. Stop the agencies, stop them, and just, you can only buy from the venue that you're going to. Done. Fake websites. Why are we getting fake websites taking people's money? What is wrong with it? I mean, all right, they'll say, oh, well, I bought them on a credit card, so you get your money back. That ain't fucking good enough, because that money has to come from somewhere to pay that person back. So it's coming out the banks. But what the banks do, then they'll put something else up, or they'll try and charge us up, or they'll do that stupid PP fucking I that they used to do to try and make the money back. Scott our detectives warned counterfeit tickets were being sold around the ground outside. Why are they being warned that counterfeit tickets are being sold around the ground at the Oval yesterday? Why aren't the police going in there and just nicking the fuckers, hitting them over the head, and then getting them in the prison? The Force tweeted, "Please do not buy tickets for events from non-official vendors." It amazes me that yeah. So I'm missing Love Island. Waste of time, Love Island. Sometimes people should just get a fucking job. They all want fame, but they don't want to do nothing for it. Kenneth Noy, £105,000 in legal aid, was attacked last night. The 70-year-old killer was released from jail last week after serving 19 years for the 1996 murder of Stephen Cameron, 21. £105,000 of our money is ridiculous, said Stephen's dad. He's right. He's got a point. I can't understand it. Why can't murder mean life is life? Why should they get out after so many years? Well, I'm fed up with this. Well, he's 72. He's not. Well, why don't the judge turn around and say, right, well, when you're 72, we'll let you out? It's absolutely stupid. I'm fed up with all this fucking legal aid going and being wasted. You know, we've got kids in hospitals with cancer and all this help that's needed for the NHS, or apparently so, that's because it's so run so badly. Why can't that money go? We don't need that money going to a convicted killer. Why don't the judges say, right, when you're 72, you can come out? Life is life, and that's it. 5 migrants have been held after they were seen hiding a combined harvester being transported on the back of a lorry. Drivers called police. 5 males detained safely and taken to immigration centre. So they've done it then. So they've beat it. They've beat the system. They've got in. There's no point. That's it now. They're done. They're here. They've claimed asylum. They're here. All they have to do is get a foot on this land, and that's it. They're in. It's just a complete waste of fucking time. I felt the fucking plot of it. A Cornish fishing village has introduced a crabbing code to stop tourists killing the sea creatures. The so-called crab cluster in Looe are printed on 18 signs dotted around the docking area. Thousands of tourists flock to the seafront every summer with buckets and nets to scoop them up. I've said this. We went to Cromer last year, and the amount of people with catching crabs and then take them home in buckets. This is not right. Shouldn't be happening. You're wiping out the species and trade and stuff. You shouldn't be doing it. Just stop fucking crabbing. If you want to go crabbing, go walking sideways or something. Don't go taking animals out, fishes and crustaceans out the sea. Leave them where they're supposed to be, and that's it. Families often pile them into buckets and then leave them in shallow water in the blazing sun to die or to be eaten by seagulls. It's just stupid fucking idiots going on holiday who don't think what they're doing. They're just thinking, oh, it's a bit of fun, we've caught some crabs. No, you're fucking killing them. Leave them. Fuming families on a caravan park have slammed council chiefs as racist after being ordered out of their homes because they are not gypsies. More than 20 families in Enderby, Leicester are facing eviction after councillors voted to refuse planning permission for the mobile homes they already live in. The caravans were originally approved for travellers to live in, but non-travellers and current residents residing in the properties. Manager of the site, Andrew Field, said it's not fair, it's a form of racism because we're not travellers, we will be evicted. Fucking hell. It's just, why can't, I don't know, it's just, everything's so complicated. If something goes wrong, somebody gets called a name and somebody's, I fucking despair, I really fucking do. Britain is braced for a washout week with floods set to threaten large parts of the country. Weather warnings from the Met Office predict severe rain will batter the UK from today until Thursday as summer is put on hold. Tomorrow thunderstorms will lash out to the countries from the East Midlands to Newcastle upon Tyne. Well, there you go, then that's me knackered, then it's going to rain. So a woman died after being struck by lightning on a hike in the killer storm Miguel. tour through Britain. Isabel Biatassus, 55, was with pals when a Lithgrove Ramblers near Scotland. It's just fucking. Do you know what? You know, we've got the technology now to know what the weather's going to be. Yet people still go out. It's like them fucking climbers who went up to Mount Everest, right? Then there's like 6 of them died. But then they go to. Then people are going up there to bring back the bodies. Fuck them. Leave them. You were told not to go up there. Don't fucking do it. Anything happens, you're fucking stuck on your own. Why do people have to go and risk their lives to get them back? That fucking amazes me. I don't know, perhaps I'm just seeing it completely fucking wrong. Perhaps people should be allowed to go and do what they do and then expect somebody to go and rescue them when they've fucked up because they've gone up Mount Snowdon in fucking flip-flops. Right. Raise your more plastic, please. Right. Hugh Fernley Whittinstall has lost the neck tattoo. I tell him, what the fucking hell's he on about? I'm not going to argue. It's a trans. It's fucking hard to read that. Brits partied the night away in Magaluf Strip as tourists were warned to beware of a new crime wave. Revellers in fancy dress had a royal ball in Mallorca resort, but police told them to be wary of opportunities to thief. Well, there's fucking no point in telling them now. There's always thieves knocking around. There's always been pickpockets and muggers and stuff, isn't there? Walking around. So, looks like we've had a bit of a WWE theme there, folks. Look, there's Stone Cold in the background. Give me a hell yeah. Hell yeah. Benidorm loving Brits have stuck 2 fingers up at Brexit with a bumper start to the season. Last year, one of the worst on record as holidaymakers held off bookings due to uncertainty over leaving the European Union. But 12 months ahead of Brexit stalled, the surge has almost filled every room. But I'll tell you what, this is what's going to happen. Brits are just going to turn around and say, fuck you, Brexit. We're going anyway. And Juncker and what is all them stupid idiots. They're just going to go anyway, because that's what we Brits do. We just do anything what we want anyway. We don't particularly give a fuck about what's happening. We'll just go. A bit like stupid people walking up Mount Snowdon with flip-flops. Climate protesters, Extinction Rebellion are gripped by civil war over shutting down Heathrow Airport. The Green Group shut down much of the central London for a week in April. Now, insider fractions are fighting about closing off the UK's busiest airport. Roger Hallam, who helped create the group, wants to use drones, but Farham Yamin, 54, a lawyer and senior members, said it will be too disruptive. Roger is used to thinking, if I put forward a proposal, it will happen. But the movement wants to be much more involved. I've said this before, these people who are protesting about climate change and stuff, I agree with you, right? You want people to support you, and shutting down Heathrow Airport when people have got businesses to sort, they've got family to visit, they've got things that are happening in their life, yes, they're going on holiday, yes, and all that. Disrupting them is not going to get people on your side. All you're going to do is fuck people off. And anybody who was in London when you brought the fucking city to a standstill and people couldn't get to work, get home, or do what they had to do, doctor's appointment, dental appointments, you know, health checks, you do that, you ain't going to get no support. So I've said this before, if you want to protest, go and protest outside the people who own Heathrow, who give all these planes and contracts. Go and protest outside their house, right? Then you might actually get somewhere, because by just going and shutting down a Heathrow or a Gatwick or wherever, you ain't doing fuck all. You're just pissing people off. But perhaps you just seem to be a little bit too silly or too stupid to realise that you ain't going to get support by... Because I tell you what, if you disrupt my journey to work or something and I'm late and I lose money, do you think I'm really going to say, yeah, let's support the Extinction Rebellion group? Because it ain't going to happen. Yes, at this moment, I am actually agreeing with what you're doing in theory, but not how you're doing it. And I would say there's a lot of people out there who are actually the same. The amount of time children spend staring at a screen has doubled in 2 years. It has rocketed from 2 hours a day in 2017 to 4 hours this study. We urge, why the fuck do they know that? Does a fucking 3-year-old say, yeah, I've been looking on a bloody tablet at Blue Van Man for fucking 6 hours? Right, schools fear that pupils may have eaten the same listeria-infected sandwich that killed 3 people last week. Last week, 6 people fell ill and 3 died in hospitals in Liverpool and Manchester, and it's most that schools have also been supplied from the good food chain. Oh, for fuck's sake. What the fuck's going off here? I tell you what that is about. That's bloody cutting corners, shit cleaned out and all that shit. A teenager who lost her leg to a shark bite has declared that big fish are good people. Paige Winter, 17, was attacked by one of the killer beasts in North Carolina last week. Her dad, who is 5'5", fought off the shark with a punch to the head. Paige lost a leg and a number of her fingers in the incident. This is the problem, you see. You go into their back garden and they're going to fucking attack you. They don't know right from wrong. You know, that's it. It's a shark. It's a fucking man-eater, woman-eater, person-eater, seal-eater. It'll eat fucking anything to survive. You can't just, you know, that's the way it is. Jason Donovan wants his kids to experiment with drugs at home with him. What fucking weirdo's that? He previously snorted 30 lines of cocaine a day, calling for drugs to be demystified. What the fucking hell's he on? Yeah, that's great, isn't it? Yeah, let's get it on. I could just shout the ginger one in. I'll snort that fucker up. What the fuck's going wrong with this fucking world? The Duke turns 98. The Duke's turned 98. Fair play to the old boy. He fought in the war, didn't he? On the boats and stuff. A driver blasted cops for spending 20 minutes trying to solve the case of his stolen 30,000 BMW. Ray Sharman, 53 of Chelmsford, Essex, called the cops to report the crime and then got 2 letters, one opening the case and the other telling him it had been cloned. Oh, fucking somebody's died here, and somebody likes a Burger King, so they've been and bought a Burger King and stuck it on his coffin. There it is. Touching, very good. Great granddaddy were, brilliant. Fucking, I like that a lot. What we've got left? 8 minutes to go. There's something new on the Channel 4 tonight, 10 o'clock. Year of the Rabbit. It's not Peaky Blinders. It's not Peaky Blinders. It's set in a grim, disease-ridden late 19th century London. It stars the rarely less than brilliant Matt Berry as Detective Inspector L. Rabbit, no-nonsense booze-swilling, mega swearing cop who blends belligerence with blistering incompetence. It's a bit of a comedy, but it's got a little bit. It's got Paul Kane in it, which is old Mike Strutter. If you've never seen Mike Strutter, you've got to watch Mike Strutter on YouTube. Keely Hawes is in it. It just looks like the kind of thing that I'd be interested in. It's got like a Peaky Blinders, Ripper Street feel to it, with an edge of comedy, that kind of thing. So give it a go. It's Year of the Rabbit, Channel 4. It's a 6-parter. What else have we got? Let's get through to the. Where's the problem page? Where's Just Jane? What have we got? 7.5 minutes. An old friend gets in touch when he wants something. I've not actually seen her for 5 years. We used to live next door years ago, and I lent her £500 to pay her for money lenders. She had £300 towards a holiday and £400 on Christmas. Admittedly, she has always paid me back, but without interest. Now she's asking to borrow more cash. I've had enough. The latest request is £300 for a credit card bill, plus she wants her daughter to stay in my spare room for a year while she's looking for a job. No doubt she means free, rent-free. Tell the woman, well, I tell you what, if you want to do this for this woman, write it all out. If you want to do it, you can always say no. If you want to do it, write it all out in a contract and then say I want £100 interest. As for the daughter stopping there, if you want it there, you charge her rent. It's easy done. I walked away from my ex-boyfriend, vowing never to see him again. I was totally sick of his mood swings, controlling behaviour and meanness. But now we have to get back. We have to get together as mates because he has something to discuss to me. He's found some compromising footage on his phone. It's of him having sex with a woman. And he's not sure if it's me or not. Right, fair enough then. What are you doing?
Putting plastic in to make too much.
Well, I'm running out of time on there. I've only got 5 minutes left. My husband died last year, but my son's 28 and 32. I've already sold his successful business off. They've basically taken the money and run. I'm still in the family home, but one son is in Florida and the other one is in Vancouver. They're living in a high life while I'm on my own. I have plenty to live on, but my husband expected them to carry on building the company. He worked like a demon for 40 years. How dare they be so selfish while leaving me alone high and dry? Obviously, the husband didn't know the sons that well then, or he would have sought something out, so they couldn't have done that. And I would, if I was you, my duck, I would write them out of your will, and then with a little note that when you do die, they know that they have completely fucked up. I have been warned that women I have fallen in love with, I've been warned the woman that I've fallen in love with is addicted to scratch cards. Friends say that her parents have almost been ruined by her debts. She seems lovely and never mentioned anything to me about her gambling. I'm worried that if I accuse her of being out of control, I'm wrong, she'll dump me. You got a question, mate? See, go and say, go into a newsagent and buy, say, do you want a scratch card? And if she says, I'll have a number 1, a number 6, a number 2, a number 8, and it costs you about 20 quid, I think then say, fucking hell, really? I was only going to get you a £1 one. And then get rid. Because you don't want that around your neck, mate, you don't want that. So, let's have a quick look at the sports. Croatia 2, Wales 1. Did anybody see that? Because I haven't watched it. How did Bale play? I just can't understand how a bloke who's playing no football whatsoever can go and play international football and be a success at it. Daniel James made big money move to Manchester United, set to rubber stamp his move this week. I can't say I've really heard of him. Shouldn't Manchester United be buying better players than somebody from Swansea? I don't know. I just think Man United are in the shit big style. Let's have a look. It's all blue European football. It's all shite, isn't it, to be fair? Portugal beat Holland, I see England also did well as such. You know, they got through 90 minutes, another 30 minutes, and then penalties. In one way, it's good practice for them because, you know, they've broken that voodoo penalty thing. Well, I mean, obviously, I know we beat Spain in the '96, but it's there now, isn't it? They've actually won a penalty shootout, which is good to see. And I just hope we get on with it now. I'm a bit disappointed that we couldn't finish them off because Switzerland didn't look that good at all. I mean, I only watched a bit of the first half and the second half. I was going mad in the extra time. I had to leave it for a bit because I'd have had a heart attack. But I was just a bit disappointed that they couldn't do Switzerland. It just, you know, I mean, we're England players. I mean, I'm not trying to say we're entitled to anything, but fuck me, we're England. You know, these blokes are on millions of pounds a year and they can't even fucking beat Switzerland. You know, it just seems that it's fucking going backwards sometimes. I just don't honestly understand it. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a Leicester fan, but I think Maddison was needed, to be fair. I think Maddison were needed big style just to, you know, the blokes played really well all season. Well, not really well all season because during the middle part of the season when Claude Puel were being a complete arsehole, went off the ball then, but he's come back on strong. Hopefully with him under Brendan Rodgers he'll do all right. And it seems like that Brendan Rodgers has got Chilwell and Maddison and Maguire to stay. Hopefully they're going to stay, so hopefully we can build. And you never know, Leicester could actually be quite a threat next year. Fingers crossed and touching wood. It's yeah, so hopefully we'll get it all sorted. Yeah, the match, how they formed, Leicester Junior got 5, Delph got 5, Raheem Sterling got 5. They wasted too many opportunities, they did, in my book, and it was quite disappointing. Pickford's penalty were a corker, weren't he? Got out of that, he just went and twatted it. I've seen the Grand Prix. I can understand what Vettel's saying, but he did lose control of the car, and he could have seen, you know, when all's said and done, you fucked up, Vettel. You lost it, and I don't know whether it was due to your tyres being shit or what, but you made a mistake. Hamilton went to capitalise, and you blocked him off. So there you go. Anyway, we're into the end of this. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll do it again. Get you later.